Is it it's the same thing, Bhagavatam on Sunday, huh? Bhagavatam on Sunday?
Yes.
Every day. You don't do CC or something. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janababa Girivardhari Gopi Janababa Girivardhari Yasodanandana Rajajana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtatasa A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Ananta Kota Vaishnava Niki Shri Prabhupada Ki Shri Radha Madhava Ki Antaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Lord Premanandi all glorious to the assembled devotees all glorious to Shri Guru Gauranga all glorious to Shri Prabhupada Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauranga Vichari Namaste Saraswati Devi Pastacharya Shatari Hare Krishna. So this morning I think we're reading text 35, is that correct? We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'm sure everybody here has read the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, correct? To the 12th canto? Have you read the 12th canto? Have you all read the 12th canto? Who has read canto 12? Anybody? 1, 2, 3. Anybody else reach 12 canto? Not yet. Yes? No? Maybe? Not sure. Sometimes we don't read much, and what to do? Try to read more. So we're on the first canto, which of course was translated and commented upon by Srila Prabhupada before he came to the West. This translation purport, the purport is somewhat revised according to Prabhupada's request to be more, say, readable, understandable to the Western audience, more suitable, more approach, more according to English. And otherwise it's the same purport as Prabhupada wrote in Vrindavan or Delhi or wherever he was translating at the time. The first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which he came with to America, of course. And the rest of the Bhagavatam, whether every single word, I don't know, but basically the rest of the Srimad Bhagavatam up to the 10th canto, chapter 13, was translated and commented on by Srila Prabhupada directly. After the 10th canto, chapter 13, the commentaries were put together, translation and commentary. Srila Prabhupada's great desire, of course, was to give this or reveal the Srimad Bhagavatam in its fullness to the world. So he compiled the Bhagavad. He wanted to finish it, but we see that before he, practically speaking, before any other parts of the Bhagavatam were published, some parts were published, but not much, Srila Prabhupada gave us the Krishna book. Krishna book? And I'm sure you've all got the Krishna book. You have the Krishna book, right? Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is Prabhupada's basic summation, amazing. Even the 10th canto first, before the rest of the Bhagavatam, practically speaking, most people, including myself, we received the Krishna book before any Srimad Bhagavatam, copies of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada so much made it clear that the 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam is you could say the essence or the purposeful essence of the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. That's why the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is basically evolved to bring that point to the forefront. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Svayam. That of all the forms of Godhead, Krishna is the origin, he's the Sarva Karna Karma, cause of all causes, source of everything. The purpose of the Srimad Bhagavatam, in one sense, is the ultimate purpose. There are many other related purposes, but that's the absolute purpose in one sense. And the process whereby we can, say, not just theoretically understand that, but live it in our lives, live it. Srimad Bhagavatam is a living text. It's not just some kind of mundane textbook or religious textbook to achieve some stage of, Dharma, we mentioned yesterday, Dharma, Artha, Karma, Moksha. It's not. It's to enable us to come into our eternal nature. As Prabhupada uses the word, return back to Godhead. To be situated in our constitutional position. Now, before I forget, some of you may be wondering about that little picture. Is this, you put that on our discussion the other day, you put that there. So this little picture, some of you know who this is. Some of you may not know who it is, I don't know. But just to inform you that this is a picture of a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, whose name is Kratu Prabhu, Kratu Maharaj, in a sense, because he has many, many disciples in ISKCON, probably thousands. Probably. She preaches, he's a very wonderful devotee, wonderful preacher, very dedicated servant of Srila Prabhupada. Not so well known in terms of, say, I don't know, a managerial realms of the movement or worldwide ISKCON, I don't know. All Prabhupada disciples know him well, but generally speaking, he's not somebody who makes himself known. He carries on behind the scene doing his service wherever he is, humbly, inspiring people to take up Krishna consciousness. You want to move the mic? You want to move something else?
The microphone has to go up. It keeps dipping down.
Well, maybe I should go down.
No, it should come up.
The mic should come up.
Yes.
Well, it's not going to stay there. And the glories of an upraised microphone is you can't see the book at all. It's a dilemma. Yeah, normally in the book, like this, If you have a sloping book stand, then both can be saw, but I don't know if you have a sloping book stand. These are absolutely no value whatsoever for any intents and purposes. They have no value. So, we'll hold the book if we need to when the need comes. It's not a problem. So Kratu Prabhu, he's a Prabhupada disciple, and he's in Vrindavan right now. He desired to remain in Vrindavan until he leaves his body, which could be any time. His liver is basically failing. He's on life support, but not life support, just oxygen. So he wants to do that. He doesn't want to have any more medical kind of bits and pieces put in your body to keep it going, or other livers or whatever you do to keep the body going. Anyway, let's see. So prayers are requested, and today wasn't even so much for his speedy recovery. No, just pray for his spiritual protection. Let me absorb him, remembering the holy name Krishna. Vrindavan, Prabhupada. Don't just to let you know anyway. So back to the subject matter. So we're on text 35, and this is the Pandavas chapter. The Pandavas retire timely. This chapter is, you could say, is developed or has evolved as a result of Arjuna's returning from Dwarka to Indraprastha or Hastinapur, whatever you call it. And of course, the Yadu dynasty has already departed. Krishna has also unmanifested his pastimes. And when Arjuna returns, Yudhishthira can see that Arjuna is not looking very enlivened. He's looking very distraught, very dejected looking. So he's trying to ascertain what is the reason for Arjuna's state of consciousness. And some speculation. We see this often when, Parikshit Maharaj, for instance, when he came across the cow and the bull. What is the cause of the difficulty? What's happening here? What is the cause? And very difficult, and from the point of view of Dharma, it is in fact sometimes very, not always so easy to understand why events occur from the Dharmic point of view. For instance, if you go to the court of the Kauravas, when they tried to insult Draupadi in the court, you had like personification of Dharma practically present there, isn't it? In the form of Bhishma and all the various elevated souls of the dynasty. No one can, will of providence, whoever it is, Vidura, Bhishma, they all, what can they do? It's the will of providence sometimes, which is over and above or difficult to ascertain from the point of view of Dharma, what is the right thing and the wrong thing to do. And as we heard yesterday, Krishna had a plan. Everything was orchestrated by Krishna. This whole event was orchestrated by Krishna. The departure of the Yadu dynasty and Krishna's own departure, Balaram's departure. And, of course, consequently also all the other pastimes, the apparent, Arjuna's failure to protect the queens of Dwarka, and the disappearance of Dwarka being apparently swallowed by the ocean, and on it goes. It all seems quite, and from a mundane point of view, it does seem rather material. And Krishna wanted it to seem like that. That was his desire. Even Arjuna's dejection, everything was nothing short of the desire of the Lord. They are, sometimes we hear the word puppet. Of course, puppet is lifeless, but in terms of, let's say, playing one's part, it's like the Lord was playing like transcendental puppets, according to the will of the Lord. From the point of view of the viewers, like little kids, they don't understand that there's a person behind the puppets. Isn't it? And when you're a little kid, it's like you see the puppets, or something even, whatever it is today. Anyway, we'll go on to the verse because it's dealing with this subject, continuing dealing with this subject, because Arjuna is replying to Yudhishthira and introducing the reasons for his seemingly being distraught. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I guess you all have this verse on your mobile phones. I'm not saying you should have it, by the way, but that's what usually happens. Canto 1, chapter 15, text 35. Yata masyari rupani tate jayad yata nataham bhubarak shapito yena jaho tachcha kalevaram yata masyari rupani tate jayad yata nataham Bhubhara shapito yena Jahotascha kalevaram. I don't know if you learned something, but it seems if you put this at an angle, it's a lot stronger. I angled the microphone in a way that I can still read the book. It's coming from the side instead of straight at me. And it sounds to me, I don't know if it's just one-off chance, but it sounds louder to me, I don't know. Does it?
It could be closer.
Pardon?
Closer.
Well, maybe it's closer also, but I've angled it so that it's possible to be like that. I don't know. Anyway, it sounds louder to me. Okay, anyone else like to chant?
Yatamasyari rupani
Yatamasyari rupani tate jayat yatanataha
Bhubarak shapito yena
Bhubara shapito yena
Jahotascha kalevaram
Jahotascha kalevaram. Anybody else?
Yatamasyari rupani
Yatamasyari rupani tate jayat yatanataha Bhubara shapito yena Jahotascha kalevaram. Yata, as much as Matsya Adi, incarnation as a fish, etc. Rupani, forms. Tate, eternally accepts. Jayat, apparently relinquishes. Yata, exactly like. Nataha, magician. That's what it translates as magician. Bhubaraha, burden of the world. Shapitaha, relieved. Yena, by which. Jaho, let go. Tat, that. Cha, also. Kalevaram, body. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord relinquished the body which he manifest to diminish the burden of the earth. Just like a magician, he relinquishes one body to accept different ones, like the fish incarnation and others. Purport. The Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, is neither impersonal nor formless, but his body is non-different from him, and therefore he is known as the embodiment of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. He's the embodiment, he's not just experiencing it. His form is the embodiment of those qualities or those characteristics. In the Brihat Vaishnava Tantra, it is clearly mentioned that anyone who considers the form of Lord Krishna to be made of material energy must be ostracized by all means. What does ostracized mean? Nothing to do with ostriches. What does it mean? Ostracized. Pushed away. In English we would say, send them to Coventry. We went to Coventry yesterday. Sending someone to Coventry means ostracize, reject them, cast them away. I don't know where that term came from originally, but it doesn't really apply so much today. And people don't know about it. When I was a kid, that was if you wanted to get rid of someone, you just say, send them to Coventry. So they should be ostracized. And if by chance the face of such an infidel is seen, one must clean himself by jumping in a river with his clothing on. Whoa! What's the name of the river in Leicester?
Soar.
Swear?
Soar.
Soar. Soar? Swear? Swear? What is it?
It's walking distance.
Pardon?
Walking distance.
Really? Okay, so every time you see somebody who thinks that Krishna's body is material, you better go and jump in there with your clothes on. Okay? Ready? Or the River Clyde if you're in Glasgow.
We have the River Neithen that goes.
Pardon?
The River Neithen that goes through.
Oh,
Lesmahago.
Lesmahago.
Extreme.
Well, these are Vedic injunctions, but they have to be qualified according to time, place, and circumstance. Let's carry on anyway. Come back if we need to. The Lord is described as Amrita. Amrita means a few things. You can refer to deathless, but without death. Or it can also be nectar. Amrita, Charan Amrita. Nectar, deathless nectar. Because he has no material body. It's only because of the material body that we experience, we call death. There's no death for the soul. It's the meaning of the soul, eternal. The soul never dies. I was surprised the last few days how many people sort of grasped it, could have accepted the soul was eternal. So many people I spoke to, older people also. Yes, the soul is eternal. Quite a few, I was surprised. I don't know if this is a recent phenomenon or some unknown to us, already existing one. But it seems like this idea of the soul being different to the body, and the soul actually being eternal, and the body is only a vehicle, is not so distant from many people's, at least, thoughts. Under the circumstances, the Lord dying or quitting his body is like the jugglery of a magician. The magician shows by his tricks that he is cut to pieces. Have you ever watched a magician? You ever seen a magician, a magic show? I don't mean like Parashuram Prabhu with his magic show. It's very interesting, but it's not quite on this same level. Have you ever seen a professional magician? You have? Where?
Yeah, in London.
In London, huh? Who's that? What was his name? Can't remember. What was that famous magician? Huh?
Houdini.
That was in history, wasn't it? But recently there was one famous magician. He challenged Sai Baba, I remember. He could outdo him in any magic. He said it's simply magic. He actually... David Copperstone, is it? Copperstone? Huh? Copperfield. Okay, David Copperfield. Famous magician of our modern world was. I guess he's dead and gone now, I don't know.
The original was...
Pardon?
Paul Daniels was the original.
Who?
Paul Daniels.
Was he?
Yeah.
Original magician?
On the TV, on the BBC.
Oh, on the BBC. The BBC, the source of all knowledge, the BBC, origin of all information. Yeah, whoever it is, anyway. I've got one disciple who's a professional magician. He was pretty good, actually. Pretty good. He was like he was like pull fire out of his mouth like this, throw it in every direction. Just suddenly a rabbit comes out of with an empty hat, like this, like different colours going in all directions. He was pretty good. He was second when he was amateur, he was second in the world. He won number 2 in world amateur magicians. He's got stuck in Russia for the last 10 years and can't get out. But anyway, I don't know what he's doing now exactly, but he's a pretty good magician. He's going all over the world doing their magic shows. So anyway, the word magician came up here. So where have we got to? Yeah, here we go. The Lord's dying or quitting his body is like the jugglery of a magician. It looks real, but it's not real. Yeah, you can say it's real in the sense that a dream is real because you're experiencing, but you know it's not real in the sense of normally you use the term reality. It's just a temporary reflection of reality. The magician shows by his tricks that he is cut to pieces. And many times they do this, and they're sort of expert magicians, and you lock them in a box and you saw through it, and it should be cut in half, and things like this, you know. Burnt to ashes or made unconscious by hypnotic influences, but all are false shows only. Factually, the magician himself is neither burnt to ashes nor cut to pieces, nor is he dead or unconscious at any stage of his magical demonstration. And the same applies to the soul in this material, to speak of Krishna, who comes in his original transcendental form. He doesn't come in a material form at all. Jopi Sundana Vyayatma, what's that verse? 4th canto of Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter. Old age, forgetting these verses. He comes in his original transcendental form into this world. Not material. So the soul, due to ignorance, we forget our transcendental form or our spiritual nature. And we identify with this body, and it looks like we're dying, it looks like we're, going through all these experiences in this world, and we take them as real. As a child watching a puppet show or a magic show is completely bewildered with what's going on. Millions of people bewildered by sometimes yogis who perform some tricks of various kinds. People are perplexed or bewildered and think that this is a show of their God, sometimes they think like that. This is all child's play. So Krishna also, for the sake of such persons, performs such apparent appearances and disappearances in this world as if he'd been born and dying like anyone else. But here we see that's not the case. But he puts on this show like a magician to, as we said yesterday, or heard yesterday, we heard from the 11th, 12th canto, I think. Bhagavatam commentary of Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, how this is all purposeful to convince the atheists that Krishna is a mundane person, just like everybody else. So they become offensive towards him and towards the Yadu dynasty, and thus Kali Yuga has no obstacles to enter in. The last obstacle was Parikshit Maharaj. And by the will of providence, Krishna arranged for his departure also. And after the departure, at that moment, Parikshit Maharaj, Kali Yuga then was given entry through Shringi, the Brahmin boy, through the pride of the Brahmins, which is the root of Kali's entry. and continually through when Brahmins are proud. That means Kali Yuga is, or Kali himself, is on the go. That's how he really influences the whole age, the pride of the Brahmins and everything else that comes from that. Similarly, the Lord has his eternal forms of unlimited variety, of which the fish incarnation, as was exhibited within this universe, is also one. Another reason why Krishna appears in these unusual forms. He has unlimited forms. Ramadi Murti Shukalani Amena Tishta. You know that verse? Brahma Samhita? Namtar Makarad Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samalavat Paramakpanam Yo Govindam. You know the last verse. I know a quarter of the Brahma Samhita, 5th chapter. Govindam Adipurasham Tamam Bhajami. If you know that line, you know 1/4 of the verses, because they all end in that line. At least that section of the Brahma Samhita, that section. Yeah, I know 1/4 of it. 25%. But in this verse, the Lord has numerous forms. He manifests himself as Krishna in this world, Govinda, we worship Govinda, the primary God, who appears in innumerable forms and manifests himself as Krishna, as Rama, Nrsimha, Matsya, Avatar, all various forms, for various purposes. Various purposes in this world. They're not karmic, they're his purposes, they're pastime purposes. Advaitam Chuttam Anantarupam Madhyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabam Durlabam Atmabhakto Govindam Adipurusham Tamam Bhajame. Famous, perhaps one of the most famous verses in the Brahma Samhita. You know that one? It's another phenomenon, another thing which is interesting. When I first came, the Brahma Samhita was one of the main texts we had. It was Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj's translation. Brahma Samhita, you see in the very early Back to Godhead magazines of ISKCON from late 60s, early 70s, one issue after the other had one verse and commentary of Brahma Samhita. Pretty high, so maybe not the commentary, I can't remember to be honest, but at least the verse and translation. And it was really important. Lord Chaitanya considered the Brahma Samhita, along with, what's it called? Karnamrita, as being the most important text, Vaishnava text, other than Bhagavatam, of course. But these were most important texts. We hardly ever hear it now, Brahma Samhita. It's the most amazing text. Everything's there. Everything. And Prabhupada quotes it. So even when he lectured on this verse today, he was quoting verse after verse from Brahma Samhita. Those two I mentioned, and others, many others, to explain this mysterious nature of Godhead. It's mysterious to the childlike mentality, and how it's revealed. As that verse, Vedeshu Durlabam Durlabam. What does that mean? Vedeshu Durlabam Durlabam. What does that mean?
What is difficult to attain?
Pardon?
What is difficult to attain?
It's not possible by study of the Vedas. Through the Vedas, and we see in the Bhagavad Gita so many times how Krishna explains, I cannot be understood by study of scripture, by austerities, by welfare, on and on. So list go. No. Atma Bhakto. Videshu Durum Atma Bhakto. That's how you understand me, Atma Bhakto. Bhaktyamam Vijanati Avanyas Jasmitesvita. You cannot understand me by any other means, isn't it? Is that what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita? You know that verse? You know it? 19th chapter, text number 195, right? You got it. Perfect. Spot on. You must have studied the Bhagavad Gita back to front. What verse?
15:7.
15:7. Any other ventures? Bhakti Mama Vijayanti. You can, if you have 700 guesses, you'll probably get it. As long as you don't say the same one twice. Any other guesses or no? That's another thing which may or may not be prominent in different places. We used to have a daily, Prabhupada stopped it, we used to have Bhagavad Gita contests. Prabhupada stopped it because he said we should play around like this. But it was really, in one sense it was really good because everyone was eagerly competing with each other to learn the verses, where they're from, what they mean. It's not so much the verse itself, it's what it means in the sense that English-speaking people at least, which is important to know. You have to ask devotees, they know the verse in Sanskrit, they don't know the meaning. Quite often. A parrot can learn the verses in Sanskrit, by the way. It doesn't have a clue what they mean. It means, it means you're not your body, your spirit, soul, and if you transcend the three modes of nature, you come to Brahman, right? And I surrender to you. Something like that, anyway. And the outside people have no idea, so you can say anything you like. Where's it? 18th chapter, text number 55. Well done. You've got it. Second guess. Huh?
With the help of Google.
And the verse says, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasochitina Kanchiti Smaksaveshu Bhutishu Bhaktim Labate. Then real devotional service becomes, and that real devotional service is the only way. Devotional service which is Anyabilasita Shunyam Gyanakamajinabhata, which is not tinged by other motivations. No selfish motivation. I want something separate from pure devotion. No interest in Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. No interest in mystic powers like a magician. They come automatically if it's the will of the Lord. A devotee only wants pure devotional service, unmotivated, uninterrupted, ahoitikiya, patiyataya, yakma supersedity. Only that will satisfy the soul, nothing else. Huh? We think Krishna is simply an order supplier, which if a person is at all pious, religious, or whatever, they usually see God as an order supplier, isn't it? An order supplier. Thank you. Another one's coming over here. Oh, that's for you. That's asan. Put your, what you call it on? An asan. Some of those are English speakers understand, especially Mancunians. They know it only too well. Yes. What we were reading on, we were just the fish incarnation. Mystifying, isn't it? How can anyone conceive that God can be a fish? This is God. You show people in the Bible time. Who's God? This is God here. They see a picture of a fish. What will they think? Ordinary person. Even religious persons. Even sometimes people who claim to be spiritually on the spiritual path. At most they'll see this as a temporary manifestation of the impersonal Brahman. At most. For some strange reason or another, the Brahman appears in this way to enlighten the darkness of whatever. Some strange perspective. They can't understand that this form is an eternal, transcendental form. The form of the Supreme Personality of God. It is not a mundane form or an illusory form of a materialistic person. And Prabhupada said one time when he was asked about Lord Nrsimhadev, the same thing would apply to Matsya, that Prabhupada said that Krishna appears in this form. The same thing we heard about the Yadu dynasty and Krishna's departure. He said the same thing. To convince the atheist that there is no God. Krishna appears in these forms. They have some specific reasons, you could say, according to the pastime. But in terms of the reception or the understanding of people, is to convince those who want to disbelieve in God, to help them to become more convinced that there's no God. He's reciprocating with such people in this way also. Because that's not the personal reason of his appearance like that. But from the public's point of view, that's one of the reasons, primary reason, especially for the atheist. Even persons who are very religious would have a hard time relating to God's pastimes, don't they? His killing of millions of living entities in various ways, Parashram or Kalki, or Krishna, Ram, and so on and so forth. That side is one side of the mundane idea of who we are. You think of the body, Krishna is not. The body is Krishna's energy. Who's killing what? It's not ours. This first illusion, we think this body is mine. It's not mine, it belongs to Krishna. That's another revolutionary perspective, isn't it? Not mine to be used in Krishna's service, it's Krishna's energy. Krishna consciousness means to realize that. It's not about the preliminary stages using it in Krishna's service, but the actual understanding is already Krishna's. It's his energy. At least that's what he says in the Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? What does he say? Bhumir apalo vayo kam manobhari evacha. All these energies are my energies. They come from me. They're not yours. We're identifying them as this is another illusion that we think it's real. It's me. It's mine. These are the illusions, me and mine, of the material world. And as long as we have that illusion of thinking this is my body, there's no question of spiritual understanding, and there's absolutely no question of understanding the transcendental form of Godhead. If we don't know our own form, what to speak of Godhead? It's thinking, I'm this body. Everything we see is material. This is the illusion of this material world. This is Krishna's great magician. He's the greatest magician. How he creates it in such a way, it really looks real, doesn't it? Not just like a magician whose show only lasts and is gone and you can understand it's some kind of trick going on there. Got some mystic power maybe, but nothing very much. For the whole universe, oh my goodness. That was an illusion, by the way, it wasn't real. For the whole world is just temporary. It's a temporary show, display. Incredible, isn't it? Who can do that? They're very proud about creating a little, I don't know, little atom bomb or something. But it's nothing. Absolutely nothing. You won't even notice it if you're not in the place where it goes off. It's insignificant. It's like, oh! Who cares about a little cough? So Krishna is the greatest magician. Incredible. Creating all this. And it's a magic show to entertain the conditioned souls. Of course, we suffer and enjoy according to our reciprocation. Sometimes when you watch a magic show, you may get scared out of your wits. You scream. You get really disturbed sometimes. But we know it's not real. The parents know it's not real, but the child is crying or screaming or laughing or getting excited. And similarly the soul in this world, watching this magic show. But as long as we are, let's say, forgetful of the Supreme Personality of God, as long as we're envious of Him, we stay in the magic show ad infinitum. And It's not always very nice. We could read, we won't have time. Maybe tomorrow. 11th Canto, chapter 31, text 11. Amazing purport. Many devotees, they don't go there. It's very unfortunate that many devotees have got jammed on chapter 13 of the Bhagavatam, 10th canto. It's a great misfortune for, in a sense. So there's nothing, every word of the Bhagavatam you can understand everything in one sense. But to purposely stop at that point is a great, I personally feel it's very unfortunate, personally. Prabhupada wanted, the whole Bhagavatam is meant to be read from beginning to end. Our Parikshit Maharaj did not stop at the 13th chapter of the 10th canto. The 11th canto is like putting light on the 10th canto. And it's the most philosophical. It's very essential for those who, for entry, I would say, let's, from our perspective at least, on every level, but to begin to grasp, perceive the 10th canto a little bit. We read on. Because there are, similarly, the Lord has his eternal forms of unlimited variety, we mentioned. When Prabhupada lectured on that, on these innumerable forms of Godhead, when he spoke on this verse himself, and I read the translation last night. I did lecture of Prabhupada last night, so kind of like focusing around what Prabhupada said on this verse in Los Angeles, 1973. Similarly, the Lord has his eternal forms of unlimited variety, of which the fish incarnation. Because there are innumerable universes, somewhere or other, the fish incarnation must be manifesting his pastimes without cessation. Now this is another angle of the eternality. Many devotees ask, I mean, in Vaikuntha, is there like a planet with, fish with like 4 fins or something? What is it? I've said, no. Particular one of the Narayan forms expands, Matsya, into the universe, and then manifesting, or is eternal also, because as Prabhupada says here, somewhere within the material universe, Matsya is appearing at all times. And that's another mind blower. We think this material universe is it. It's only a small mustard seed in a bag of billions of mustard seeds. Not even billions, countless trillions. That's a bit beyond modern science capacity to comprehend what the speakers measure. Even this universe is way beyond their ability. It's a small universe, said this one, very small. Numerous universes, I can't remember the verse in Brahma Samhita, but numerous universes are emanating from the pores of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Numerous. Material universes. And it's like let's take the sun. Prabhupada gives the example of the sun. We're here in Leicester. The sun has probably risen a few hours ago. I don't know when it rises in Leicester, if it ever rises. It does rise sometimes, doesn't it?
A lot more often than in Scotland.
Huh?
A lot more often than in Scotland.
More often than in Scotland. Scotland. Are you able to tolerate that? He joined the enemy camp. In Scotland, you got to keep quiet, but when you get back, you're outnumbered here, so you got to be careful. You're outnumbered. But when you get back to Scotland, you can reveal what's going on down here. But anyway, the sun rises. I don't know what time it rises. Say it rises at 5:05 here. I don't know what time.
4:48 according to
4:48 according to Google. Something or other. 4:48. Now, if you go to Birmingham, what time does it rise? 4:48.20 seconds, maybe. And if you go to Wales, it'll be another 20 seconds. You go into the Irish Sea, it may be another. By the time you get to Ireland, it's not 4:48, it's 4:50. And then you go out into the Atlantic, I don't know where you go out, Iceland, maybe it doesn't rise in Iceland. You know, different north, it's north. Anyway, it's a whole thing. But it rises at different places as you go around, doesn't it? Does the sun rise? Does the sun appear? Does it appear or not? Does it rise? Not really. It appears to rise, but it's a relative perspective. It's only relative. It's always there. We can't see it. So it appears in different times, in different places, but it's always there. Master's always there, he is just seen in different... Even we can look out the window now and say somebody... I was looking out the window, there was a police car this morning, I think some drug addicts were in the park there or something. And, you see the police car's gone. And then someone else around the corner sees the police car. The police car's still there. Looks like we say, the police car's gone. The police car's still there. We just can't see it, that's all. So Krishna's like that, in a sense. Appearing at different places, but always appearing. He's always there. There's no beginning or end. He just manifests his pastimes in one plane and then unmanifests them in that plane. But he's still there. It's not like now he's dead and gone, who's next? As we may think, if we're mundanes. Always there. And that's within the material framework. Not to speak of on the spiritual plane. Or the absolute spiritual plane. We'll finish the purport and say a lot more. We could read that purport for time. You see it there. You see what Prabhupada's saying? Or not Prabhupada, Prabhupada's disciples are saying. If you look at it, 11:31:11, you can all look at it later on. 11:31:11. There's another one. 11:6, I think it may be 35, I can't remember somehow. Where Prabhupada talks about, not Prabhupada, where the Vishwanath Chakravarti, Jiva Goswami, others talk about this subject matter of the Yadu's departure, magical shows, unmanifest, manifest, are all extended considerably in those purports. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, I missed the line now. In this verse, the particular word date, eternally accepted, and not the word ditva, accepted for the occasion, is used. The idea is that the Lord does not create the fish incarnation. He eternally has such a form, and the appearance and disappearance of such an incarnation serves various particular purposes. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, the impersonalists think that I have no form, and I am formless. But that at present I have accepted a form to serve a purpose, and now I am manifested. But such speculators are factually without sharp intelligence. The impersonalists think, there's a famous verse, I can't remember, the Bhagavad Gita, 7:24-25, you can look it up if you want. The impersonalists think that I have no form, that I am formless, but that at present I have accepted a form to serve a purpose, and now I am manifested. They don't understand the transcendental nature of Godhead's form. Even those who appear in nimitika forms in this material world, they're not so much nimitika, but they appear to be temporary. But they're eternal also. They're just existing always within the realm. It's like the sun is always existing. We can't always see it. It's always there. The impersonalists think they have no form. But such speculators are factually without sharp intelligence. They can't grasp this aspect. It's an inconceivable chincha. Though they may be good scholars in the Vedic literature, they are practically ignorant of my inconceivable energies and my eternal forms of personality. The reason is that I reserve the power of not being exposed to the non-devoted by my mystic curtain. He reserves that power. We used to know that one. Slipping my mind. That's funny, I said slipping my mind, and just at that moment the cloth is slipping.
If you lift up, I'll pull it.
A good idea is not to put it on in the first place, maybe, I don't know. Maybe the table's not suchi. Cloths are not usually so suchi either. I don't know when this was washed. When was the last time it was washed?
Last yuga.
Pardon?
Last yuga.
Last yuga.
What is manifest?
I can't handle putting cloth on the altar. I know in Hindus, Indians, they love to put cloth on their altar. Really dirty. And somebody, you go to a table, you go in a room, they put this weird cloth on the table. And the first thing I do is take it off and then clean the table. Cloth is not clean. You've got to wash it every few minutes, really, if you want to keep it clean. You know, practically. Not clean. You put your clothes on, keep them on for 2 weeks. Spill your dough on them. Drool on your cloth. Ants poo on it. Ants who crawl over it, they poo on the cloth. Flies poo on it. Right? You can wash it all the time. You can wash it. If it's nice, like tiles or marbles, you can wash it. And then the things get stuck in it, and it looks so gaudy also. You can't even see who's on the altar sometimes. You know, the cloth is like 10 different colours, sparkling, some silver sparklers in it. Keep it clean. I have to wash my shirt now, just rub my mouth on the shirt. Take the shirt now and go and wash it right away. It doesn't stay clean. Yeah, we do the best we can, but why make it more difficult? The reason is that I read that. Why have I forgotten that verse? 9th chapter somewhere. In the Krishna is a source of forgetfulness, that's why. In the Padma Purana it is said that those who are envious and always angry at the Lord are unfit to know the actual and eternal form of the Lord. They're envious, they cannot see. He doesn't reveal himself to such envious persons. People say, show me God, I want to see God. Another illusion that we're in. We think I'm the seer, we're not. Drashta, drishya. Drashta means seer, drishya is seen. We're drishya. We have no ability to see. It took Sri Krishna Nam Dina Mavan We cannot see God with material senses. You can see the illusory, or whatever you want to call it, the form that the Lord manifests to us in various ways. That we may see as time or death or mundane form, just like Krishna described. He apparently leaves a mundane form behind for the mundaners to think like that. Even Jara or Jara? Jara or Jara? Narada or Narada? Is it Narada or Narada? Narada. In Australia it's Narada. They all say Narada, Narada, Narada Muni. Parikrama. That means very hard work. Parikrama. I'm going on Parikrama, Prabhu. It means you're going for very hard work. Yeah, any small things probably didn't make a big issue, but whatever it is, Duran. It was interesting. I was wondering, who is this personality, Duran? Some of you know who he is. He went back to Godhead straight after he shot the arrow. He fell, he realized what he'd done. He made a mistake. He thought it was thought it was a deer, another illusory arrangement of the Lord. And then he repented, he fell at the Lord's feet when he saw what he'd done. Begged forgiveness, humbly. Then Krishna sent him back to Godhead. Chariot came from the spiritual world and off he went back to Godhead. Jara went back to Godhead. Who is he? You can read this 11th canto, I think also. Bhrigu Muni. He's Bhrigu Muni. You've heard of Bhrigu Muni? He appeared as Jara. And because his foot, he kicked the Lord's chest with his foot. Therefore he had to take birth as a hunter. And he went back to God. When he shot the Lord's foot with an arrow. So everything's the Lord's plan. It's not like an individual acting against the Lord's will. It's all orchestrated by the Lord. Everything. Even the material world is orchestrated. We don't know it. It's reciprocating with the ignorant souls. We think we're the doer, but it's not. It's Krishna's energies reciprocating with our animosity or favorability towards Krishna. That's all. Got it? And we get so angry with each other over what's not ours in the first place. Kill each other. Okay, now they've made up friends now, even though there was a bit of a problem just now. It's been resolved now, okay? Been resolved. Good boys, there we go. We'll finish the purport. The less intelligent, therefore, unaware of my material form. In the Bhagavatam also it is said that the Lord appeared like a thunderbolt to those who were wrestlers. In the Kamsa's, in Dana Yogya, this wrestling arena. Shishupal, at the time of being killed by the Lord, could not see him as Krishna, being dazzled by the glare of the Brahmajyoti. Therefore the temporary manifestation of the Lord as a thunderbolt to the wrestlers appointed by Kamsa, or the glaring appearance of the Lord before Shishupal was relinquished by the Lord. But the Lord as a magician is eternally existent and is never vanquished in any circumstance. Sometimes he does reveal an aspect. He did even to Duryodhana, an aspect of the universal form. But he just thought this is some magic show, it's nothing. Hiranyakashipu, a magic show. What is this? Yeah, some magic show or something. They can't, even though they could see, but they don't see because their eyes are blinded with the dark, with envy. They can't see Krishna. Although he's there, they see something else. They see something else. People look at the deity, they see something. They think they kill Krishna when they smash the deities. Big thing. In the past, at least. Some people, they used to try to kill the Hindu god by smashing the deities. They think he's finished, he's gone now. They have no idea. None. Even many practitioners of religiosity see the deity as a temporary stone, some media through which the gods will reward me or something. So many illusions. Imperfect vision, because we're thinking we're the drashta, we're not the drashta, we're the drishya, we're the seen. The Lord is seeing us. Radha Madhava is not. We can say that for the sake of obvious reasons. I'm taking darshan of Radha Madhava, but it's actually we are the darshan of Radha Madhava, where that was seen by Radha Madhava. We can't see Radha Madhava. In one sense we see something, but only something. This small manifestation to our eyes, depending on the degree of our surrender. As they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So he reveals himself to the degree we surrender. Or if we don't surrender at all, he reveals himself as death or some other horrible affair. Yeah. In the form of God. Death. Time I am, destroyed with time. He reveals himself as time. Death, he reveals himself as death. To conditioned souls who are inimical, are not surrendering. And for devotees, he may be in different levels of realization, he reveals himself accordingly. Such forms are temporarily shown to the asuras only, and when such exhibitions are withdrawn, like the Brahman, the effulgence, most people on spiritual path, they think that the absolute is the Brahmajyoti. They're in the same category as the demons, practically. They're just being bewildered by the blinding effulgence of the Lord. Just as the foolish audience thinks that the magician to be burned to ashes or cut to pieces, the conclusion is that the Lord has no material body, and therefore he is never to be killed or changed by his transcendental body, but to satisfy the children sometimes. The father, I don't know if you ever did when you were young, Sometimes you play fighting with your father, the little boys. The father looks like he's dead. You killed him, right? Or you broke his arm or something. You haven't done anything, but it appears like that. The father is reciprocating with the child. That's what's going on. What to do, of course, it doesn't sound very nice, but that's what's going on. Because we have no spiritual perception. We still think with the drashta, we think with the seer. You can't see anything as long as we think with the drashta. Only pure devotees, they can see because they're seeing with transcendental vision. But those who are not, they can't see anything practically. Okay? Don't get proud if you think you've got some power or you think you're in charge. Right? You think you're the best book distributor in Scotland. And you're not worried about that one. Now, see, he's saying you are. Trying to cover this illusion. An illusion within an illusion. And amazing how you can, reality, what do they call it? You think it's reality, practically, what do they call this? Saying now, the modern technique, not artificial reality, what do they call it? Virtual reality. Yeah, you can actually think it's real. You can actually feel you're eating something. You're not doing anything. You can feel you're there in that place. You don't need to go there. You feel you're getting this sort of the same, whatever it is, mental reaction that you would get by doing it, practically speaking. And the material world's like that. It's a virtual reality. 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, whatever it is, virtual reality. We think it's real. We think we're getting this, and this, and that, and this. Wow. That's Krishna's magic show. Even you take it, I don't have a mobile phone at hand, if I had one. It's magic, really, isn't it? A mobile phone. Complete magic. Magic. Now you can see on the screen something which presumably is going on somewhere else. Isn't it amazing? And here we are in a little room, in a little building, in a little city, in a little country, in a little planet, in a little universe. And we're seeing something. To us it's magic. I have no idea how it works. None. How the thing works. Somebody else, they know how it works. It's not magic to them. So we're like that. Hare Krishna. Okay, it's very late, 9:10. 9, 10, 11. Magical class? I don't know what it was, an illusion. It was all an illusion. It's over now, don't worry. The dream is, the nightmare is over. The nightmare is over now.